Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Let's start with our new lecture, that is lecture number 18 for Web Technologies and Programming course. Before proceeding to the today's lecture, let's overview the summary of previous lecture. In the previous lecture, we have discussed in detail what is JavaScript. We have seen that JavaScript is a scripting language and JavaScript is embedded with HTML. We have seen that there are different conventions for using JavaScript. The semicolon convention. If you are giving a statement in one line, then it's optional to end the statement with semicolon or without the semicolon. But if you are writing two or more statements in a line, then it is mandatory that you put the semicolon after each statement in a line. Then we have seen that we can use single quotes and double quotes for the value of properties. And then we have discussed in detail about internal JavaScript and external JavaScript. Internal JavaScript is suitable when you want to use it for limited number of functions. For internal JavaScript, the code of JavaScript is written inside the HTML web page file. Similarly as for internal CSS. We have seen that JavaScript can be written by using the script tag. And we have also seen that in internal CSS, the JavaScript code can be mentioned inside the head tag or inside the body tag, or can also be used for both the head tag and body tag at a time. Then we have discussed in detail about external JavaScript. For external JavaScript, we have discussed that a separate JavaScript file is created and that file is referred in the HTML web page document. And we have seen that external JavaScript file can be saved using .js extension. And external JavaScript is suitable when we are going to use it for multiple functions. After the internal and external type of JavaScript, we have discussed the variable concept in JavaScript. Variable can be presented using the var variable definition. And then we have seen that variable can be declared, and then we have seen that a default value is given to a variable through which a variable is initialized. After that, we have discussed the two major categories of variables. The first one is the local variable and the second is the global variable. The local variable is declared within the function and can be accessed within the function boundaries, while the global variable is declared outside the function and can be accessible throughout the web page HTML code document. After the variable declaration, we have discussed about different JavaScript operators. We have seen arithmetic operators. We have discussed about logical operators and comparison operators. Moving onward, we have reviewed about the input and output methods in JavaScript, where we have noticed that for input the most important method is prompt method and the most common method for output is document.write method. Then we have discussed different JavaScript functions which calculate square root and which calculate average and which prints the values on the web page, which takes the values from the user, and similarly some others. Then we have discussed about the conditional statements of JavaScript. We have seen two conditional statements, the if conditional statement and then the if else conditional statement. For the if conditional statement, we have seen the if the condition is given and if the condition is true, the statements after the if code will be executed. And similarly, then we have seen the condition is not true for if case, then the statements inside the else are executed. And here we have seen how we are going to embed the conditional statement codes inside the JavaScript, which is again embedded in HTML page. In the end, we have discussed about the loop statements. We have discussed the for loop, the syntax of the for loop and how it executed. And similarly, we have discussed the while loop. And finally, we have taken an example with HTML code and looping statement, and we have executed that as well. So this is all about that we have discussed in our previous lecture. What we are going to discuss in today's lecture. In today's lecture, there will be dialog boxes in JavaScript, and we will discuss what are dialog boxes and what types of dialog boxes we are going to use in our HTML code. Moving onward, we will discuss DOM. What is DOM? There are some types of DOM, and we will focus for the DOM type, that is HTML DOM. Now let's overview dialog boxes for JavaScript. JavaScript basically provides an ability to the user to pick the user input or to display the limited number of text to the user with the help of dialog boxes. So the dialog boxes appears on the user screens as a separate window with their content depending upon the information provided by the user. So what is dialog boxes? Dialog boxes are basically separate window that appear on the web browser, and they will appear with their relevant content, and the content depends upon the information provided by the user. So what are the major types of boxes in dialog boxes in JavaScript? These are three major categories. The first one is alert box, the second one is prompt box, and the third one is confirm box. Let's review all of them one by one. The first one is alert box. An alert box is simply a small message box, and that usually pop-ups and give some information to the user. An alert box was made to just show the information to the user, and an alert box is usually used to display some warning message to the user. So whenever an alert box is used, the user can proceed to the application by just pressing the OK button on the alert box. So the alert box is meant to provide the information regarding the warning that appears for particular task or particular action that is done by the user. And The alert box is meant that user can read the particular content, and after that the user wants to move onward to the application, then he has to press the OK button. So what is the syntax of writing an alert box? The syntax for writing an alert box is write alert, this is the name of the function, and then in small brackets mention the message that you want to be displayed on the user screen as an alert box, and it should be in double quotes. Let's see the code that is written inside an HTML document for alert box. Now see, the script tag is started, the language information is JavaScript given, the keyword for the function is mentioned, the name of the function is alert me, and then it will take the parameter message, and then bracket start for the function, and the syntax for the alert box is written, that is alert, and then the message wording is passed to the alert message function, and then the brackets closed for the function. Now the alert me is taking some variables or values. What are them as a parameter? Alert me is taking as welcome to my page, and then script is closed. So it is the starting of the function, and it will display an alert box, and this is basically the calling function, and this is basically that parameter that will be taken by the alert function and displayed to the user screen. Let's see what will be the output of this particular line of code. So see, here it is written welcome to my page. This is a alert message, and only an OK button is provided by the alert box. The next one is prompt box. A prompt box is often used if you want the user to input a value before submitting a page. So in order to take the values from the user, we will use prompt function. When a prompt box appears, the user can either press the OK button after filling the required fields, or the user can press the cancel button in order to cancel that particular prompt box. The user can also press the cancel button after entering the values, because the user don't want to proceed or want to mention the values again. So if the user is pressing the OK button, the box will return the relevant input values. But if the user is going to press the cancel button, the box will return null. So the prompt box is basically meant to take the input from the user, and either a prompt box can be done with OK button or cancel button. For OK button, the input value will be returned, or for cancel, the null value will be returned. Let's overview a detailed code for the prompt box. Here you can say a head tag is mentioned, then the title tag, the function is given, then the scripting language JavaScript is mentioned, and then the function keyword is mentioned, and the function get name is declared, and then variable name attribute for variable is given, and then the prompt function is written, where it is written please enter your name, and the name variable is mentioned, and then the document dot write function that will be used to print the output, and then welcome to Mr. is mentioned as an information, you can say as a label, and then the variable name is called, and then a comment or explanation will appear, and then the function is closed and script is closed. So this is the start of the function get name. This is basically the variable where the user input will be taken, and this is basically the function that will print the value that will be given by the user in name variable. Now when to load this function or when to execute this function? In the body tag it is mentioned on load. When the page will be loaded, at that particular event get name function will be called. So the function is triggered by on load action. Then body tag is closed and HTML tag is closed. Let's see what will be the output of prompt box. Here you can see the prompt box is showing please enter your name, and I have given my name and I have pressed the OK button, and the output is shown in this way, welcome Mr. and my name is given with sign of exclamation. So this is basically the prompt button where two options OK or cancel is given, and on giving the valid name when OK button is pressed, this output will be shown. Let's move the third box, that is a confirm box. Confirm box is mostly used if you want the user to accept, to acknowledge, or to verify some information. So whenever a confirm box appears on the user screen as a pop-up, then the two options are provided to the user. Either the user can press OK button or cancel button to proceed. If the user press OK button, the box returns true value, and if the user press the cancel button, the box returns false. So the values are mapped for true and false. For OK button, the value will be true returned, and for cancel, the false value will be returned in case of confirmation box. Let's overview the code for the confirm box. Again, in HTML file using the internal JavaScript, the confirm box code is written with a function. The script tag is started. The language is mentioned as JavaScript. The function is mentioned. The function keyword is given with the name of the function is con name, and then the function is started. Now see, the first variable is given name that will be taken by the user with the help of prompt function. Your name please, or you can write enter your name please. So it will be saved in name variable. Then a conditional statement if is mentioned. If now confirm right on the web page. So this is basically the confirmation box that will appear on the user screen, and the document.write, that is the output function to be displayed, will display if the condition is true, welcome Mr. and the name will be displayed. But if the user has pressed the cancel button, it means false value is returned. The user don't want to get it printed. Then else function will be executed, and the document.write function, that is the output function, will write welcome Mr. Anonymous. So the name is not mentioned, and then function is closed, and now the function is called. After that, the script tag is closed. So when we execute this, let's see what will be the output of confirm box. Right on the web page, this is the confirm box. Either press OK button or press cancel button. OK button is pressed, so the value is returned true, and the if condition becomes true. So the code inside the if button for document.write is executed, and it is shown as an output, welcome Mr. Tessie. So we have seen the three types of dialog box. The first one is alert box, which only displays the OK button, and that is used when you want to display some information to the user. The second one is the prompt box. The prompt box is basically used to take the value from the user, where there are two options provided, OK option or cancel option. If the user press the OK option, then the value will be taken from the user, and in case of null, in case of cancel, it will return null value. Then we have discussed the confirm box. For the confirm box, we have seen there are two options, either the OK option or the cancel option. And if we press OK button, true value will be returned, and if we press cancel button, false value will be returned. And we have seen the code for each prompt box in the HTML web page and their outputs on the screen accordingly. Let's discuss the new content for today's lecture, that is DOM. The word DOM stands for Document Object Model, and the DOM is basically a standard defined by World Wide Web Consortium. The DOM defines a standard way for accessing the documents. So what is DOM? The DOM is basically a platform and a language neutral interface that allows the programs and scripts to dynamically access and update the content, the structure and style of a document. So using the DOM, you can change the style, you can change the structure, and you can change the content of a document dynamically. The W3C DOM is basically a standard, and which is divided into three different parts. The first part of W3 DOM is Core DOM. The Core DOM is basically a standard model for all types of document. The second category is XML DOM. The XML DOM is the standard model that is meant only for XML documents. The third category for DOM is HTML DOM, and the HTML DOM is a standard model for only HTML documents. And in our lecture, we will focus and discuss HTML DOM. What is HTML Document Object Model? Once The HTML elements are rendered, displayed in the web browser. The web browser cannot recognize those HTML elements. In order to create an interactive web page, by interactive web page I mean the user can interact with the elements, with the design. It is very important that the browser needs to know the HTML elements. So if we want an interactive user interface on a web-based application, then it is necessary that all the HTML elements which are rendered on the web browser have to be understandable by the browser. So the JavaScript enables the browser to do this particular functionality with the help of DOM. So DOM, HTML DOM recognize and can use the HTML elements after rendering or displaying on the web browser. So the HTML DOM defines a standard way of object, set of objects for HTML, and is also a standard way of accessing and manipulating different HTML documents. All the HTML elements and their text and attributes can be accessed with the help of DOM model. So DOM model helps in accessing and can updating all the elements and their attributes. So the content can be modified, can be updated, can be deleted, and as well as new elements can be added as well using HTML DOM model. The HTML DOM model is basically a platform and language independent, means whatever the language is and whatever type of browser platform is, the HTML DOM model can be utilized. So the HTML DOM model can be used with any programming language, like it can be used with JavaScript, VBScript, and similarly. And the HTML DOM is considered as a thought of an hierarchy, moving from the general objects and slowly towards the specific objects. So let's see what is the hierarchy of HTML DOM model. If you do consider over here, on the top the window node is mentioned, and then the navigator hierarchy, and then the document is mentioned, and then the history, and then the location. So these are the 4 different ways through which an HTML page can be manipulated or controlled. So as the DOM model is concerned with the HTML documents, so the hierarchy is expanded for the documents. So the documents can include forms, images, hyperlinks, and arrays. So the first one is form. Form are basically the combination of array of forms. The second one is basically images, which is the combination of array of images. The third one is the array of links, and the fourth one is the array of anchors. So considering the array of forms, if you can see, the elements are written as array of elements for forms, where different elements can be shown like text boxes, submit button, list, files, etc. And for the list, again the multiple options are divided, and in this way we can see that from document we can move towards the form, and from the form, which is a specific hierarchy, we can move onward towards the elements, and towards the element we can move toward the element detail. So whenever a web page is loaded, the browser creates the DOM of that particular page, and with the object model, JavaScript gets the power in order to create dynamic HTML. So JavaScript can change all the HTML elements in the page. JavaScript can change all the HTML attributes in the page as well. And the JavaScript can change all the CSS style in the HTML page as well. And the JavaScript can also remove the existing HTML elements and attributes as well. So using the DOM model, the JavaScript can change HTML elements, HTML attributes, CSS styles, and can remove HTML elements and HTML attributes. The JavaScript can also add new HTML elements and new attributes, and the JavaScript is also be able to react to all the existing HTML events provided on the page. And the JavaScript can also add new HTML events on the web page. So using the DOM model, the JavaScript becomes more powerful and can do these sort of functionalities after a page is rendered. Now see the DOM model detail. The first one is HTML DOM methods. HTML DOM methods are basically the actions you can perform on HTML elements. So with the help of the method, you can perform different actions on HTML elements. Second one is the HTML DOM properties. The DOM properties are basically values. You can change or you can set them. In all the HTML elements, objects are defined. The programming interface, it is basically the properties and methods of each object. A property is basically a value that you can get or you can set, like changing the content of the HTML element. A method, it is basically the action you want to perform. Either you want to add an action or either you want to delete some method on an HTML element. So these are basically HTML DOM methods and properties and objects and property and programming interface. Now let's consider the code syntax for DOM. See, the document is mentioned first, then a form is referred with value and then element and then value. So from general hierarchy we are moving toward the specific hierarchy. Similarly, a document image can be accessed, and similarly a document link can be accessed. Now, how to retrieve the HTML elements? By using the getElementById method, it is easy to retrieve the HTML element. What does getElementById will do? It will basically retrieve a specific element of the HTML document and it refers to it. So to retrieve an HTML element, it is necessary that it should have a unique ID. What is the way of it? See, document dot, and now the name of the method is mentioned, that get element by ID, and then in brackets the unique element ID is given. So in this way the HTML element can be retrieved, and the return reference can be used as an attribute. So the document dot get element by ID, and then the unique element ID is mentioned, and then the attribute is considered accordingly. Similarly, the document can get an element for a picture. So the document dot get element by ID, a picture reference is given, and then the source attribute is given. Moving onward, the document dot get element by ID, it is taken for the picture, and the height attribute is mentioned. So in this way you can retrieve different HTML elements by using the get element by ID method. Let's see the code for it. The code is embedded inside the internal JavaScript. So the head tag is started, and then the title tag is given, and then you can see the script tag is started, the language is given JavaScript, the function keyword is given, the get value function is mentioned, and then a variable name A is given, and by this variable then the get element method will return the particular value according to the variable A. So if you do consider, document dot get element by ID from the picture is retrieved, and it is assigned to variable A, and then using the alert method function, A is given with title and A is given with the height. So script tag is closed, head tag is closed. Then in the body tag, image source is mentioned, the ID of the picture is mentioned, the title is mentioned, and on click function the get value function is called. So basically when the function of get value is called, when the user will press the click, and you can clearly see the reference to the picture and the accessing of the attribute after getting the value in variable A. So this is the code to retrieve an HTML element using the get element by ID method. See the output. So here is the image. So in this image the web page says Mercedes-Benz, and its value is basically taken, and then the value is returned, and then the height of alert is shown, that is 600 for that particular, and then the height of the image is shown for that particular image. Now retrieving the text for an element, the another method is inner HTML property that defines both the HTML code and the text that occur between the elements, and the elements are opening and closing. So what is the code for inner HTML? By using the document dot get element by ID method, mention the unique ID element ID, and then mention the reference of inner HTML. What will be the code for it? It is again written as an internal JavaScript. After the head tag, the title tag is mentioned, and then JavaScript function is called, language is mentioned, and then JavaScript then the function get text is mentioned, and then a variable is mentioned as A, where the document dot get element by ID is taking the reference of a paragraph, and the element ID is given to variable A, and using the alert function, the A is added with getting text, that is inner HTML, and then the script tag is closed, head tag is closed, and in the body tag the paragraph is referenced. The paragraph ID is mypara, and on clicking you will get the text, and then the hello world is displayed. So here you can see the output of retrieving the text of an element of get element by ID with inner HTML. So you can see the paragraph text is hello world, and the alert box is presented accordingly. Now the next is get attribute method. The get attribute method is used to retrieve values of attributes. How to use it? Write the document dot get element by ID and then mention the element ID, and then mention the get attribute method with the attribute name in the brackets. For example, write document dot get element by ID, mention the element ID for a picture, and then the get attribute is the reference for that particular picture. What will be the code of get value of attributes? Now you can see that using internal JavaScript the code is written. The head tag is started, the title tag is given, the script tag is started, language is mentioned JavaScript, the function keyword is written, and get attribute function name is mentioned. Now a variable name A is given, and then document dot get element by ID is mentioned, and a picture as an element is given. Then the alert message function is called, and the variable A is accessed with get attribute function, and the attribute value is title given. So the script tag is closed, the head tag is closed, and the body tag is mentioned, with image source is given as an image benz.jpg, ID is pic, that is referred in get element by ID, the title is given Mercedes-Benz, and when the function of get attribute will be executed, on click. On click is particular trigger for executing get attribute method. Let's consider what will be the output of get value of attribute. Here you can say that an image is displayed, Mercedes-Benz image, and the attribute value that is given is shown as Mercedes-Benz, which is shown on alert message box. Moving onward, let's see how to set the value of attributes. Set attribute is basically the method that is used to set values of attributes. How? The syntax is document dot get element by ID, element ID dot set attribute, and then mention the attribute name and its value. So how to do it? See an example. Document dot get element by ID, mention the element ID as picture, and then set the attribute, give the source, mention the comma, and then mention the file name that you want to set. So for one particular picture, using the set attribute, you can change the other attribute. Now what is the way of writing the code for set attribute? Again, using the internal JavaScript, the HTML code for set attribute for HTML attribute function is given. Head tag is started, title tag is given, script tag is started, language is mentioned as JavaScript, function keyword is used, set attribute, the name of the function is given, and then a variable a is created which will get the value that will be passed by document.getElement by id, and then set the attribute. What? The height is set to be 75, and then set the attribute width is set to be 100. The script is closed, head tag is closed, body tag is closed, and image tag is mentioned. First of all, the source of the image is mentioned, that is benz.jpg, id is picture, the title is mentioned at Mercedes Benz, and on click it is mentioned set attribute. Then body tag is closed and HTML tag is closed. Let's see what is the output of set value of attribute. So before using the set attribute, the image is presented large on the screen, and after applying the set attribute, its height and width is set accordingly as given in the values. So by using the set attribute, the particular element ID is changed. So how to find the HTML elements? In order to do so, we have to find the element first, and then there are couple of ways to perform the actions. Number one, you can find the HTML elements by ID. You can find the HTML elements by tag name. You can also find the HTML elements by class name. And similarly, HTML elements can be found by CSS selector and by HTML object collections. Finding HTML element by ID, the first category. This is the most easiest way in order to find an HTML element in the document object model by using the element ID. Let's see the example of it. This example finds the element with ID equals to intro. Let's see the code for it. Variable name my element is given, and then document.getElement by ID, and the intro, that is the ID, is mentioned. In this way you can find the particular element ID, and you can play the respective actions that you want to do using HTML DOM. The second way of finding the HTML element is by using the tag name. This is the example in order to find all the paragraph elements. What is the way of writing the code of it? A variable name x is mentioned, and then it is assigned by document.getElement by tag name, where the tag name is p, that is a tag for paragraph. So with the help of the tag p, all the paragraph can be searched, and then these are again the HTML elements. So using the HTML DOM model, the respective actions can be performed on it. The next way for finding the HTML method is element is by class name. If you want to find all the HTML elements with the same class name, you can do it by using the getElements by class name. So let's see the example. In example, there is a class, the name of the class is intro. So the code for writing is variable x, and it is assigned with document.getElement by class name, and it takes the parameter that is mentioned intro, which is basically the name of a class. So there are three different ways for finding HTML elements. The first way is finding the element by using the get element by id method and assign with the id of that particular element. The second one is basically get element by tag name, and this method is used to find the element by tag name, and the parameter that will taken by the function is tag name. The third one is basically finding the element by using a class name. The method is get element by class name, and the parameter that it will take is the name of a class. So these are the three different ways to find an HTML element, and after finding you can use the DOM model in order to apply the necessary action that you want to perform. The summary of today's lecture. In today's lecture we have discussed about dialog boxes in JavaScript. We have seen that the dialog boxes are basically a way to communicate with the user for different actions. There are three categories. The first category is alert box. The alert box is shown to the user when only we want to display some information to the user. And the alert box will appear with only one option, that is the OK option. And by the OK option it means that user is reading the content and pressing the OK button. We have seen the code for the alert box as well. The second dialog box that we have discussed is basically a prompt box. The prompt box is basically the particular type through which we can take the input from the user, and this is the most common method for taking the input from the user, and it will display two options, OK option and cancel option. If the user press the OK button, then the value of input given by the user will be shown, and if user presses the cancel button, the return value will be proceeded. The next one is the confirmation box. The confirmation box will display two options, OK option and cancel option. And for confirmation box, if OK is pressed by the user, it will return true, and if cancel will be pressed, the return value will be false. So these are the three different dialog boxes used in JavaScript. Then we have seen what is DOM. DOM is basically document object model. And what does DOM do? There are different types of DOM: XML DOM, CSS DOM and HTML DOM. The DOM model that we have discussed is the HTML DOM. What is HTML DOM? When HTML elements are rendered on the web page, displayed on the user browser, then we cannot control them, we cannot process them. In order to control the HTML elements after the rendering process, the DOM model supports in addition with JavaScript to do this particular task. So we can control different HTML elements using the HTML DOM model. For that we have seen how we can control the HTML elements. For this we have seen different methods. The first method that we have seen is get element by ID. This is the most common method, and by using the get element by ID, an element ID is passed as a parameter to get element by ID, and through which the element is accessed and the relevant functionality can be proceeded. Then we have discussed that get element by ID can be used with get attribute as well and inner HTML as well and set attribute as well. So with get attribute we can take the attribute of that particular element. Let's suppose an image is displayed on a particular web form and now we want to get the height of that particular image. So using the get attribute method we can take the height of that particular element. Moving onward, we have seen the set attribute method. With the help of set attribute method, the value of particular element can be set. For example, the height can be set, the location can be changed. Here we have seen an example of an image which is first accessed by get element by ID, and then using the set attribute the height and width of that particular image is set. So these are the different methods in which we can retrieve the HTML elements with the help of DOM model. Then we have discussed that there are different ways to find the HTML elements. The one of the most common way to find the HTML element is finding the HTML element by using the get element by ID function. The get element by ID function takes the parameter of ID, and with the help of ID you can find the necessary web element to whom you want to process it. After finding the element by ID, there is another approach for finding the element, that is find the element by tag. This is basically the HTML tag. So finding the element by tag, it is going to take the value of tag as parameter, and that tag value is normally assigned to a variable, and then the relevant properties can be set using the DOM model. And then we have seen that an HTML element can also be found by a class, and for that we have seen that class name is passed as a parameter to the function. The method is get elements by class name. So the name of the class is given, and then that is assigned to a particular variable, and using that we can change different attributes of it. So if we do consider, first we have reviewed the dialog boxes, and then these concepts of dialog boxes are used in DOM model, and in today's lecture we have overviewed the HTML DOM model, in which we have majorly seen how to find HTML elements when they are rendered on the user browser, and there are different methods, how to use those methods, what are the parameters, how these methods will be added for new HTML elements, how new HTML elements can be modified, how the current HTML attribute can be removed, can be changed or can be updated, and how the existing HTML elements can be added, can be modified or removed. And then we have seen all the retrieving of HTML method with different ways and approaches. So this we discuss in today's model. So this is basically the DOM model that is integrated with JavaScript. Students, Please keep in mind that we have taken all the example with internal JavaScript. You can also practice and apply all as external JavaScript. And how to refer external JavaScript? The method will be same as we have discussed in our previous lecture, how to access external JavaScript in HTML file. The another important thing is that we have discussed the most important and major HTML elements to be found and applying the properties. Other than these, you can also take some other HTML elements and you can practice with different examples of DOM in JavaScript as an internal JavaScript and as an external JavaScript with set attributes, get attribute and different properties as well. So this is all about for today's lecture. We will continue with JavaScript in more detail with new headings and content in next lecture as well. Thank you for today's lecture.